So I want to start by having you engage your imagination. So go ahead and close your eyes. Get as comfortable as you can. Take a few deep breaths. We're going to start by having you imagine that you're outside in a lush meadow, a nice field. And maybe it's a warm day, but maybe not quite as hot as it's been in Texas lately. So go ahead and imagine you're in a nice meadow on a warm, sunny day. You're sitting there or standing maybe in the meadow. Just notice that place. And to start this journey, all you need to do is just notice that feeling. Notice wherever you connect to the ground. You might feel your feet on the grass, or if you're sitting, you can feel your butt there on the ground connecting. So feel the sun on your skin and the ground supporting you, and just take a moment to enjoy the way that it feels, to absorb that energy of that lush meadow and noticing where you connect to the ground. Become one with that feeling. You are supported, you're safe, and you're comfortable as you relax into that safe feeling. You might even feel your body becoming one with the landscape around you. You're so aware of this meadow. And start to notice the sounds, and the smells, and the colors. And tell me, what sounds do you hear in this place?
I hear birds.
Birds. Take
And
a
I hear
deep.
the wind.
The wind.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I hear the wind.
beautiful. You might even feel that wind on your skin.
Mm-hmm.
And take a
Mm-hmm.
deep breath. What do you smell?
Smells kind of like rain, like
Mm,
when it rains.
yeah, nice. Notice that moisture, that richness. Does this place feel familiar or does it seem entirely new?
It seems familiar.
Mhm. And so now I want you to notice that right out there, there's the edge of a forest. So connected to this lush meadow, right there, not too far in the distance, is the edge of the forest where the trees start to gather and they become more dense. You feel like you're drawn to these trees. You want to walk towards these trees, walk along the edge of the forest. Tell me a little bit about the forest. What kind of trees or what kind of forest are you imagining?
The forest is mainly pine trees. They're like tall and straight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's lots of pine needles on the ground.
Might hear
Lots
those
and lots of
crunching.
pine trees. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Lots of pine cones.
You can smell that pine in the air.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're walking along the edge of that forest until you find a path. So first notice that path. Does it seem wide? Is it narrow? What's it like?
It's a little, it's a little narrow trail, like looks like a little where animals go.
Hmm, oh, perfect. And at the beginning of that path, you see a sign. And tell me, what do you imagine this sign is like? What's it made out of?
It's a it's a it's a wooden sign.
Mm. Is it tall or short, big or small?
It's short and
Mhm.
kind of wide.
You might notice what's on the sign. There might be a symbol or words. What do you imagine might be on that sign?
There's an arrow.
Ah, aha, excellent. You get the distinct feeling that wherever that arrow points, wherever this path leads, that's where you're supposed to be. Wherever this path leads, you are expected there, you're wanted there, and you want to be there wherever that place might be. You're ready, you're willing, and you are excited to step onto that path. So go ahead and start down that magical path. It might wind, might be straight, but notice as you go down that wonderful, lush path, maybe there's some plants, maybe there's some ferns. What else do you notice as you're starting off on this path? Notice any plants or animals?
Yeah, the path is like just a dirt road with very few little pebbles in it.
Yeah,
And there are lots of greenery around, and there's little flowers and little tiny flowers,
just
purple and
notice.
yellow and white.
Beautiful. And do they have a smell?
I can't smell them.
Well, every step you take, everything around you is growing more rich. It's growing fuller, more alive. Even those flowers are growing more alive. Even the air is becoming more rich. And you notice that your body feels lighter and lighter. And it's almost like you're not walking, just you're floating down this forest path. So notice as you're going down this path, you become lighter and lighter. You're getting smaller and smaller, almost like you're floating, just like a feather. And maybe you're about the same size, just drifting and floating along that path. You notice that you're supported by everything, even the air. With every breath you take, you feel lighter and lighter. You're being guided by the wind, knowing that you're going exactly where you need to go. You trust this wind, you trust this current, this path. You might even hear the wind whispering something, so listen. What do you notice the wind is saying to you?
Let's just go with the flow.
Go with the flow. Perfect message.
Mhm.
And now you're floating along and you start to feel a gentle downward motion, and you know that you have arrived. You are here, this place, your time. You're starting to become aware of the friends that are here, the guides, the plants, the other energies, even the energy of the forest itself is making itself known to you. And it feels so easy, so familiar. As you drift back down to the ground and you start to sense who or what has called you here. And as you sense those energies, you notice, in particular, two beings seem to stand out from all of these guides and all of these friends that are here in this forest with you. And in front of you, you see these two very special beings. We're going to call them maybe the king and the queen of the forest because they represent all the other beings. And they're here to help and guide and lead. You notice them with a brilliant green light. Everything's covered in that green light, shimmering and glowing as the king and queen of the forest enter this circle and make themselves known to you. As you can start to see their forms, your eyes are adjusting to the light. Tell me, what do you notice about the king and the queen of the forest? How do they appear to you?
They are fairies.
Mm-hmm. Fairies. Do they seem old or young?
Well, the man is the king's old.
Yeah.
He's rather old,
Hmm.
but the queen is really young. So
Mm,
I don't know if it's the king and queen, or I don't know. I'm kind of confused because
yeah, that's okay. Don't have
I'm
to
just trying to
understand
figure it
everything.
out.
Tell
Yeah,
me about the king's personality. What is he like?
he he's um very quiet. He's one of the kind that walk walk tall and carry a big stick, or
Ah,
whatever that saying is.
yeah. Protective.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And what about the queen? What is she like?
She's kind of like, okay, it just kind of a little clear.
Yeah.
The king protects the forest and the animals, and the queen kind of mothers it. She's like the mother of the forest.
Uh-huh. And how does she
So,
nurture this forest?
yes, she watches over the plants and the animals, and she makes sure that they're led to what they need.
Mm-hmm. Are they holding anything in their hands or wearing anything?
The king has on a cloak, like
Oh,
a cape, like.
yeah.
And the queen, she she has on a crown, but she has on just like a little dress. It's not like you would think royalty to these, but hers is more like it's more sheer, like
And the
kind of
king's
reminds
cloak.
me.
What does the cloak allow him to do?
It just it, the cloak. It, I'm not sure.
Can you feel yourself underneath his cloak? What does that feel like?
Yes, it's. I feel proud,
Yeah, wonderful.
and like I am strong.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel that in your body? What are your physical reactions to feeling strong?
Yeah, I feel. I don't know. I just kind of almost felt like my muscles kind of swelled up a little bit.
Yeah, good. Just realize anytime you want to have that feeling, you can imagine being under the protection of his cloak, which allows you a
Yeah.
certain confidence and pride, strength. Good job. And what about the queen? Does her crown allow her to do something? What is it like?
She does have magical powers.
Yeah,
He does too, but
yeah.
she has magical powers. She is she can send messages through your mind
Ah. And what message does she send you right now?
that I'm very loved and protected
Mhm, mhm,
always.
mhm.
And thank you for doing what you do to protect the animals and the wildlife in the forest.
Yeah, good
Thank
job.
you.
And as you feel that sense of appreciation, how do you feel that in your body?
I, I, I do feel the love. I felt it in my heart.
Mm-hmm. What's
Like
that
my
love?
heart is,
Yeah.
it's really warm. My
Mm.
heart is really warm right now.
And what is that love allowing you to do?
I feel lighter
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and warmer. I do feel like I am loved right now.
Excellent. Beautiful. Well, again, just remember anytime you need to feel that or want to remember this feeling of being so loved, you come back into this moment with the Queen of the Forest. She's available to you anytime. She's right there. And she loves sharing her energy. And now these beings, they have a gift for you. They're offering you a perspective. And they're reaching out their hands and they're handing you this gift. So reach out your hands and take this gift. And as you reach out your hands to take this gift, realize they have many gifts, many different perspectives to offer. But today they're offering you the perspective of the tree. So reach out, accept this perspective, the perspective of the tree. And as you do, you start to feel yourself shifting and changing. You might feel a little different than you do in your human body, but you're starting to feel rooted, tall, solid. You're starting to feel like that tree. And if you can start to sense your treeness, tell me a little bit about what that's like. What does it feel like to be a tree?
I love being a tree.
Do you feel
I
young
know
or
what my
old in this form?
I feel young. I
Hmm.
know what my job is. I know what I have to do,
Ah,
and
ah.
I am planted here to do it.
What's your job? How would you describe it?
I'm going to give you oxygen. I'm going to give you shade. I'm going to give you fruit. I'm going to give you everything that you need.
Do you feel like you have a gender, male or
No,
female? What
no,
does it feel like to get nourishment? How do you eat as a tree?
it's all in my roots.
Ah, uh-huh,
Yeah,
uh-huh.
all in my roots.
And what does the sun
Mother,
feel like?
oh, it feels good. Even when it's really hot, nobody else can stand it. I love it when it's hot.
Ah, even when it's really hot. Interesting. That's good to know.
Hmm.
Good to know in all this heat.
Yeah,
What about the rain? What does that feel
I
like?
love the rain. It just gives me a bath,
Mm,
and
mhm,
it makes me feel happy.
mhm.
It
In that,
also nourishes me.
yeah, I feel that nourishment. And how do you
Mhm.
communicate with others?
I send messages.
Mm, mhm,
I do.
mhm.
And some people can receive them and some can't.
Yeah.
The
Do you have
other
any?
trees, the other trees do, and the other plants and the animals, they hear me.
Yeah, notice your friends or your community as that tree. And what animals are your closest friends in that form?
I love the birds, but I love the squirrels because they make little homes in my tree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Well, now that you've seen that perspective of a tree, I want you to show me an important day or an important event in the life of that tree. So find a time in the life of that tree that you imagine as a unique experience or something important enough to talk to me about. Find a day in the life of that tree where something's happening or something's changing, or you're sending a message or you're receiving a message. And tell me, what do you notice? What's happening?
It was the best day ever. I was just in the forest and somebody picked me. Somebody said, I want this tree close to me.
Oh, wow.
They dug me up and they moved me closer to their home.
Oh, wow.
And that was the best day of my life. And I lived so long there. And I watched so many family members live there.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
And what messages do you give them?
The same ones that I give most people is that I will give them everything that they need. They get shade, they have wood, they have oxygen, they have everything that I could possibly ever imagine to give them. That's I will give it to them.
Beautiful.
And they take really good care of me. They make sure I have plenty of water. And I love them for that.
They seem to recognize your personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, they chose you. Awesome.
Hmm.
Well, thank you. Anytime you want to feel that sense of community or being chosen or just this vibration of love and harmony, you can remember that day, that best day ever as a tree when that family brought you into their family. You might even be able to explore other connections with this family, these people, that community. For now, we'll thank these people and I'll bring you back into the clearing. So imagine you're coming back into the clearing, leaving that life of a tree to the side for now, knowing you can come back into that form anytime you need to. But now you're back in the clearing with the king and the queen of the forest. But you're also feeling called to keep moving down that path. And so you're guided to keep moving. You say thank you and goodbye to the king and queen. And you're called to continue on the path, moving and floating. You find that there's another clearing up ahead, and up there's a light. And you're curious, what's causing this glow up ahead? You know, you'd very much like to connect with this light. You recognize this glow. You recognize this being who's causing the glow. It's a guide that knows you, a guide that knows you well. You may or may not recognize them right away, but they know you and their energy is so familiar. You can't help but want to connect with this light, this being. So tell me, what form do you see? What do you notice about this light, this guide?
It it looks like the shape of a human form.
Mm-hmm. It seem to be male or female,
I I don't believe it has gender.
no gender. Oh, what color is the glow?
It's white.
Mm-hmm. They seem tall, short, wide,
It's
thin.
it's it's tall and thin.
And what is this being's personality like? What's their energy remind you of?
Like a loving father.
Mm,
Very,
mm.
very warm and protective and very loving.
This higher dimensional guide wants to help you understand something, wants to hand you a gift. So reach out and take whatever this being is handing you and notice, what is it? What are they giving to you?
The dragon.
Oh, a dragon. What's
Hmm.
the dragon like?
It it looks like it's made out of gold and
Ah,
it has some red jewels in it. Probably rubies.
mm, mhm.
And
Connect with this. Yeah, go ahead.
it's about a foot long.
Yeah. Is it heavy?
It's pretty heavy.
And connect with that dragon. Look into its eyes. What can this dragon help you with?
It's my personal power.
Personal power. Mm-hmm. How can it help you harness your personal power?
It helps me with my willpower.
Ah, uh-huh. And when can you remember the energy of this dragon? When can they help you?
Anytime that I need to really follow through with something.
Follow through. Mm-hmm. Does this
He's,
dragon know you from somewhere else? Or are they just meeting
I,
you?
I feel like he's either a spirit guide or maybe on my spirit team.
Yeah,
So he's been there.
the guide on your spirit team that helps you with personal power.
Hmm.
Awesome. Just realize you can connect with this guide. Does he happen to have a name? Listen, you might hear what would he like you to call him, or what can you call him?
A van.
Like IVAN,
It's like AVAN.
AVAN, a
A
van,
van.
a van.
A
Nice,
van.
a
A
van.
van.
Wonderful. Now realize you can call on this guide anytime you need help with that personal power, need motivation, and he's going to tell you what is a good way to connect with him. How can you call on a van?
Close my eyes and speak his name.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. His energy may stay with you for now as you carry that gold dragon with you to thank that higher dimensional being, and you can always connect with them as well. And again, you're being guided to move along down this path. And as you do, off in the distance, you can hear some water running. Sounds like a stream or small river. You can hear that water. As you get closer to that stream, you notice a waterfall and a pool that's big enough that you can take a swim. And before you jump in the water, you notice that there's something catching your eye on the bank of the stream. It looks like a small object. It's maybe something that fits in your hand, and it seems meaningful in some way. So look at that object that's right there, right on the bank of the stream. What is it? What do you notice that catches your eye by the water?
It, it looks like some kind of a rock, it's got some shine to it. So
Mm,
maybe a crystal.
ah, hold it in your hands. What color is it?
It's purple.
Mm-hmm. Does it seem to have a personality or energy?
Yeah, it's kind of a happy personality.
Well, keep that with you. You can hold that in your hand or tuck it somewhere. You're going to use it later. But for now, you're called to jump in that pool and enjoy swimming in that refreshing water. Just notice how good it feels, that water on your skin. You might even feel a bit like a fish or a mermaid or some type of aquatic creature as you're in that water. What do you feel like as you're in there? Or do you feel like Treva?
I feel like I have lots and lots of arms, so I could be an octopus.
Yeah, fun. That's
That's
awesome.
that's
Fun
crazy.
one. Notice all those arms and have fun moving them around.
Yeah, I'm just like slapping the water
Yeah. Yeah. And
eight
just for fun,
times.
what do you like to do? How do you like to spend your free time in that form of an octopus? What do you like to do for fun?
I'm dancing.
Dancing, yes. All
I'm
those
moving
legs.
those arms everywhere. Dancing.
Perfect. Feel yourself dancing. Are there others like you, other octopus like creatures that you dance with, or do you do it alone? Or both?
I see myself alone.
Yeah. Nice. Well, anytime you want to feel that freedom or that joy, you can come into that form, have all those arms, put on a show for yourself, and dance away, slap that water. And as you do, it allows your physical body to expand, to release. Whenever you're ready, you can get back out of that pool. And next, you're drawn to that waterfall. And you realize that as you're looking at that waterfall, you can magically just walk right through that waterfall. And as you're walking through that water, it's rinsing away all of your stress, all of your worry, all of your insecurities are being washed away by that water. All the stress from the day. Just notice all of that being carried away. And in that cavern behind the waterfall, you notice a door. So just notice the door. It has a large metal doorknob. And you start to open it, but it's locked. Then you notice that right there, it looks like almost a keyhole or an impression where something fits perfectly. And you realize that that crystal you have fits perfectly right in that impression of the door. So go ahead and put that purple crystal in that keyhole and turn that handle, open that door, and walk into that room. And in that room, you realize that this is where you have access to your subconscious mind. This is one place of many places where you can come to feel that connection with your soul, your subconscious, your higher self. You go through that door, you enter that cavern, and now you're able to speak directly with your soul. And now that your soul is so present, so available, I'd like to ask your soul a couple questions. I always respect the power of the subconscious mind. It does such a wonderful job taking care of the body and bringing forward these experiences. I always like to ask permission to speak with the soul. So, do I have permission to speak with Triva's soul today?
Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that and all the information you've brought forward for her. So, I wonder, you've brought forward all these different symbols and guides and energies. What message would you, Triva's soul, what message would you like to give to Triva today? What does she need to know?
You know what to do. You're on the right path.
Mm.
Keep meditating.
Mhm. When Triva wants to connect directly with you, how can she do that?
Clear your mind in your meditation.
Sometimes it helps to have a word or a phrase that will help Triva remember this feeling of connection. Would you like to give her a word or a phrase that will help her connect?
Sassy.
Say it again.
Sassy.
Sassy. Beautiful. Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Good job. And before we go today, I want to ask Triva's soul, would you like to tell her anything else? Any other parting messages before we end the session today?
I know that you struggle, but the light days are so much better than the dark days. And just remember that when those dark days do come, that light will be wonderful. Hang in there.
Beautiful.
We're here to now. The times are here that all this scary stuff and people are being afraid. We know that we're here for this now to help keep the peace and help people not be afraid.
What's Triva's special way of doing that?
Being motherly,
Mm-hmm.
but firm.
Mm-hmm.
I have to learn to be firmer
Mm-hmm.
because people take advantage, and that's where I need to see. I, I need to learn.
What energy or messages did Triva experience during this session that will help her with those boundaries or that sense of being firm?
Personal power.
Mm-hmm.
My dragon. My dragon.
Dragon. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well, anytime she needs that reminder, she might remember that dragon or see that image, or Evan might come to her directly. Thank you so much for bringing all of this forward. And now I'm going to thank the higher self, the soul, thank all the parts that we spoke to, thank all the guides. And I'm going to ask Treva to come back into your physical form and take your time doing that. You've journeyed really well. Good job. And I'll count to 3 just to help you come back into this reality. You're doing nicely. 1, breathing a little bit faster. 2, you might hear sounds in the room or sounds even out in the distance. And 3, you're wide awake, feeling wonderful all over and ready to think about those messages that you've received.
That was amazing.
Yay! How do you feel?
I feel great. I
Yeah,
feel
good
great.
job.
Now I need to find my gold dragon.
Yeah.
I don't think I won't be looking for one
Yeah.
to put on my little shelf. Amazing.
Anything
Wow.
surprising from that?
Well, the fairies were a little surprising.
Yeah. Yeah. Were they little or
Yeah.
big?
They were small.
Yeah.
They were small.
That's so interesting. Such little
Yeah.
beings and protecting such a big energy.
Right?
Yeah.
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 Amazing. Yeah, it was. I've got a lot to think about now.
Yeah. Well, I will send you the
Yeah.
recording. So, in case you want to
Okay.
listen to it, you're free to listen to it. I expect that you probably remember everything because it's pretty light trance, these types of
Hmm.
experiences. But sometimes, even if when you're going into the soul, you might go a little bit deeper too. And you might also be able to replay it and just kind of go back in and do the same thing a little bit differently,
Hmm.
again and
Hmm.
again, and maybe get a different tool or a different
Right.
guide or yeah, or more messages from the subconscious.
Yeah.
And you'll
Yeah.
likely be a little bit more open the rest of the day and maybe even tomorrow. So, as you say, keep thinking about messages. And if you're a little
Yeah.
bit more emotional, that's okay too. It's all kind of part of the process. So, sit with it.
Okay.
And if you need anything, reach out. This density
Yeah.
makes it seem.
Yeah. Well, I try to do my meditation and everything, and when I do, I'm perfect.
Yeah,
But
me
it's
too.
it's
Me too.
it's real hard sometimes to do it though, because
Yeah.
I've got that ADHD mind going on
Oh,
sometimes, and
yeah.
it's just
Yeah. Um,
sometimes it's just crazy.
what was I tell it? Because my client yesterday was the same way, and I'm the same way. And he does TM, and I do a chanting, chanting a mantra. So it's basically the same thing. And we were just like,
Uh-huh.
when we do it, it works so well. Why aren't we just doing this more? It's the same human.
I
It's
know.
easy to start. It's difficult to keep going in a consistent manner. But the thing I just kept
Yeah.
telling us, don't beat yourself up when you don't do it. Only reward yourself when you do it. And just
That's a
understand that other part
good.
is just human nature.
Yeah,
Just
you're
human nature.
right. Oh
Just
my God, you're my little life coach.
yeah, yeah. Well, I
See,
talking to myself too. You know what I mean?
right? Right?
We
Well,
together.
that's when the best things come out is whenever you're talking and just
Yeah.
talking. You
Yeah, it's like
know?
usually if I'm giving somebody else advice, there's somebody like tapping, hey, you gotta listen to this one. This
Um,
is good. Do it. I'm like, no, this
right?
is for Treva. They keep assuring me that I'm doing it. They're like every day in every way, just a little bit better, better and better. That's all we need to really just accept and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Julia, I just got to say that, my soul led me to you somehow. And I know
Oh,
why. You've helped me more than anybody's ever helped me.
aw,
So I just got to tell you that. And
yeah.
you really have.